Howdy ho, everyone. Just wanted to talk about a couple of things. So, first of all, I have like 15 new subscribers from the Jeff Mara show, which for a tiny channel like mine is actually a big deal. So, thank you all for subscribing. And I wanted to just give an overview of my strange channel here and go from there. And also, I wanted to talk about the Earth from space in detail, in the greatest detail that I possibly can during my near death experience, because this is one of the most difficult things for me to describe in words what I was seeing when I was looking at the Earth. In some ways, it was even harder than the ethereal realm because it was so complex. Okay. Also, and I'm overjoyed that so many people found my experience to be helpful, and the comments are great, and I'm overjoyed that you guys like it, and I appreciate it very much. So yeah, let's just go over this channel. So it's just really random. I don't have any particular goals here. I am very open-minded. I discuss everything. I have very open-minded people here. I welcome everyone, whether you are just the traditional kind of Christian, that's fine with me. Whether even if you're an atheist, as long as you're respectful, you have a materialist mindset, you can come along here as long as when you put in your 2 cents, you're respectful. Because I had this jackass come on one time and he just wanted to inflate his ego, and I'm not going to tolerate that. Um, Politically speaking, I'm neither Democrat or Republican, and I don't just like I don't like categorizing things like that in general. I just am skeptical of the entire construct and system here is totally silly and ridiculous to me, and that's how I see it. So I make fun of all of it sometimes. So just a trigger warning on that as well. I wanted to mention um, that the Mandela effect stuff. So a lot of my subscribers and people who comment have been really changed, in their life, just turned upside down by unprecedented changes that me and countless people around the world have been experiencing. So if that doesn't resonate with you, don't worry about it, because it's something that's extraordinarily difficult to explain to people who are not experiencing what we are. So it's okay if you don't get it. That's totally no problem. But getting into the earth, okay? So I think it absolutely kind of lines up with the Mandela effect or has something to do with it. What I was seeing when I was in space, and I was particularly intrigued by these wildfires when I was looking at the West Coast and the smoke, and it was like going all the way up into space, and it was just gnarly looking. And so the best way I can describe it, so I was looking at the Earth, and it looked so alive. It looked so conscious. It looked like it was it looked like it could be your friend, okay? I don't It sounds really silly and ridiculous, but it looked like there is this being hanging out in space, and then all the other planets and stars are like his buddies, and they're hanging out in a group together chilling. That's how like realistically alive it was. It was absolutely alive, and alive spiritually speaking. I'm not just talking about life on the planet. It was very much alive, as in an actual living, breathing being. And I was literally watching and hearing what felt like breaths, like it was breathing, and it was intense because it was labored, it was heavy, it was concerning because it looked like it was really in distress. which I mean, considering the things that are taking place, is no surprise why it would be in distress. So, but having said that, the organic and inorganic components that I was witnessing, so it was more of a feeling rather than and a feeling and a knowing rather than just looking. So the knowing element was that it was kind of a timelessness, an ancient godly timelessness that just permeated the entire globe. And it was an energy that was so vast, that was so creative, and it had so much enormous power that it was just vibrating and emanating this thing that I could feel pulsate. It was insane. It was intense. So the inorganic, or what I would describe as like the Sim City on the four other podcasts I went on, I called it a Sim City because it looked like a computer, but it wasn't, because it was like a crystalline it was like a crystalline moving sort of like form. It was like sort of grid like, but it was not. It kind of looked like one of those mandalas, I guess you call them. It was like these kind of circular crystalline structure that just permeated the entire globe, and it kind of looked like it was suffocating the globe, and that's why it couldn't breathe. And it's interesting now how in today's world we're talking a lot about breathing, aren't we? Isn't that interesting? So it was crystalline, so it was kind of sparkling, and it was, I knew what I was looking at was a very, very advanced technology. I mean, it wouldn't be anything that we would even remotely understand. Like imagine a million years ahead, because that's all I could really compare it to. And it was this crystalline like ether that permeated the entire globe. And so now I can't help but wonder if whenever the shift happened, and I think for the Mandela affected people, the shift happened in 2011 during Fukushima. I was just talking to my friend just recently about how that year was such a bad year, how it felt like the world was ending, and maybe it did. Um, just look up the events that happened in 2011 yourself. You have the Arab Spring, the entire Middle East was on fire, the Syrian war. You had Anders Behring Breivik and that massive terrorist attack in Norway. You had Fukushima. You had other massive natural disasters. It was the type of year that could have easily led the world into a third thermonuclear war, and it well might have, and we just simply went like that and don't remember and decided to keep on living somehow. So this is the thing that's interesting to me. So this it kind of crystalline like structure that looked, and I had this knowing that it was synthetic. It kind of felt like so hard to describe. Like it was, so there is a hard drive and there is a modem. So it's like it was like a substructure. It was like I'm having a really hard time. It was like, if so when the shift happened, I think that we went entirely from the mix, the blend of the synthetic and the organic, and shifted entirely into the synthetic. So now we are in technology, immersed in a technological robotic realm, essentially. Far fetched, I'm aware. Like I warned you earlier, we talk about everything here, and we're going to talk about some really wacky stuff. So hold on to your horses, guys. So that's a theory, and it's a possibility, and a dream I had recently about an underground base at my workplace a few videos ago, you'll see, called The Controversial Dream or whatever. I discussed how I was informed that the world had ended and the sky was pink and red, and it was the space dust covering the entire sky on our real Earth. And people were in these pods living this VR reality through their clones over here, is what I saw. So interesting things to think about, guys. So have a good day, and thank you all very much.